Hello, everyone. I am Archangel. I will be your guide for the duration of this excursion. When confronting female parasitism and toxicity, there is another common justification bantered about by purple pill males, who indeed understand male devaluation, yet submit to their female validation attention addiction. The new and improved rebuttal is: we know interacting with females is a risk, but males have always been risk takers, and because of red pills, we are better equipped to handle the risks. Besides, though females may be hazardous, the danger makes it more exciting. Indeed, males do like taking risks, driving cars with bald tires over 140 miles an hour, hanging on to motorcycles at upwards of 130 miles an hour without a helmet, climbing sheer rock faces without any safety gear, just sneakers and shorts, jumping off of cliffs, floating car inner tubes over class 4 rapids, riding dirt bikes, four-wheelers, snow machines, up, around, over, and on things that should have pulled my number long ago. Oh, believe me, I get it. Taking risks makes any victory and conquest that much sweeter. Success over danger and hazard is a rush that few things can match. This is why guys will get hooked on risk-taking, getting chemical rushes by going against convention, which tells him not to drive that fast, not to lift that much weight, not to bet that much money on a single hand, etc. Males are risk takers, encouraged to this role through biology and environment. Testosterone encourages confidence and assertiveness. Meanwhile, in our environment, we've had to sneak around dinosaurs and other humans throughout history in order to compete for resources or mating rights. Hence, males have been made to engage in acts that might be dangerous to their health, like standing fast against a charging buffalo because the clan needs food, or standing alone against marauders in front of your log cabin as the family hides inside. Male risk-taking is even more applicable today, where males put their bodies through torment for acknowledgement, taking risks not available centuries or millennia ago. Today, males drive faster, fly higher, lift more, fight more just to get noticed in an environment where everything has already been done. So, males are taking even more risks today in order to beat old records and garner attention and approval. I understand more than most. The juice, the essence of risk-taking that makes it so appealing is precisely the danger factor. If you are walking a tightrope with a safety net beneath you, there really is no risk. You may get an adrenaline rush from the height or the challenge, yet you know that if you mess up, you will be safe. No harm will come to you. Juxtapose the tightrope and safety net with a tightrope and concrete. There is immediate, real danger, and that increases sensory excitation by many degrees of magnitude, including the feel-good chemical rewards that get released every time a male cheats danger. Accomplishing some feat of daring against unfriendly odds elicits a high so much more vivid, so much more dramatic than the excitement they would have received knowing there is a safety net to protect them from harm. Moreover, males' testosterone levels skyrocket upon victory over an opponent or hazardous obstacle. And testosterone is, among other things, a powerful stimulant that makes males feel good. In fact, low testosterone is largely responsible for depression in males, and the biggest killer of testosterone is estrogen, which, coincidentally, we are being bombarded with in our environment, our foods. Chemicals in everything from soap to shampoos to constituents of plastic that leaches into our food and our skin. Such chemicals are treated as estrogen by the body, or they disrupt hormonal balance, allowing endogenous estrogen to run amok, and testosterone levels plummet as a result of this estrogen dominance. And then, we wonder why males are becoming soft doormats and girls are hitting puberty at 11 and 12 years old. Both occurrences are heavily influenced by estrogens. Anyhow, challenging the odds is why many males will take to gambling or playing stocks or doing any physical sport without protective gear. because the physical danger boosts the chemical rush and social acclaim they get upon successful completion. Even rescue workers or law enforcement or military, everyone from EMTs to firefighters to fighter pilots, many have an adrenaline lust that they satisfy by engaging themselves in dangerous situations when they could have just as easily chose to earn their paycheck in a more monotonous fashion, such as a hotel manager or a data entry slave in a cubicle. Kleptomaniacs, indeed those who involve themselves in crime, they get a rush from beating the odds and the legal opposition. I understand taking risks. I do. In fact, I posit the high from dodging danger is a significant reason for the pickup artist arm of male spaces or MGTOW. You see, males get an intense rush from female attention, interaction, validation, and sexual flirtation. And this is the average ignorant blue pill male. The purple pill male gets the same courtship flirtation rushes, yet they get boosted intensity because they know female interaction as dangerous. For many men, being aware of male devaluation, yet continuing to sexually interact with females romantically, is like putting a turbocharger on the standard courtship chemical high. They know there is risk, and their excitement comes from standing toe-to-toe with that risk, without flinching. So males try to play females who try to play them by getting close to females and gleaning attention and sexual interaction, then getting out of an association before the danger of relationships, false accusations, children, loss of material assets, or legal attachment to any female can end your winning streak. The chemical rewards of engaging, pursuing, and subduing such a toxic yet mesmerizing opponent as females. This is such a strong high for most males. This is why males take to monogamy like pythons take to roller skates, because they thrive on the continual pursuit. Chasing one chick and bedding down with her for the rest of your life cannot replace constant conquest nirvana. This is why dudes get the reputation of ogling chicks, besides males being visual creatures, charmed by pretty shiny things. They also constantly scan the females of their environment, thirsting for that next conquest. Even if they are doormat husbands or boyfriends, and the next conquest for them is simply engaging the pretty girl in the bread aisle, or chatting up the cashier for a couple minutes, just long enough to give him the feel-good chemical release of flirtation. And his version of danger is flirting with anonymous chicks, betting that the slave master at home will never find out. Furthermore, this is one reason cheating is so prevalent, because the rush from philandering sexual interaction is much more intense because of the danger level that their deceitful liaison will be found out by their partners or the public. Just like people having sex in public locations, the excitement level is ratcheted up because of the immediate danger of being caught. When you can do anything, anytime, anywhere, suddenly sex and flirtation are less exciting than hurried sex in the broom closet before coworkers catch them and they have to return home to their respective partners. Yet, whether player or bad boy or average garden variety male, most never lose that thirst for the supercharged chemical release, which is why chasing women is an addiction stronger than any other for males, because it yields a greater high. Conquest over risk delivers reward, and male existence is dodging danger at every turn, while females are wrapped in bubble tape and carried on daddy's shoulders through society. Women have a constant safety net because of their reproductive role in human procreation. However, maybe this gyno net is why females report being less happy in general than men, even though happiness may be a misnomer as men are killing themselves in record numbers to escape this place. Yet males, being the creative forces in existence, occupy both ends of the bell curve: compassion and malice, satisfaction and depression, genius and insanity. Still, surveys continue to issue results displaying females as being less content with their lives than males, less content being a star in an existence that revolves around them. Perhaps the very protection and provision females demand because of their uterus is the very source of their excitement satisfaction doldrums. Because they know, no matter what they do, they have a safety net to catch them. Since males have created everything we know, anytime a female accomplishes a thing, that female realizes deep down that a male somewhere led the way for her, and that to some degree she was coddled, helped along, and treated more delicately and favorably than any male counterpart. And this unacknowledged realization makes female accomplishment less intense than most male accomplishment. And why should this be? Because life takes off the gloves when dealing with males. Males have to live life without a safety rope or a helmet or training wheels. We have an existence pitted against us. Danger stalks us. We have no safety net to catch us from harm. Thus, everything we do and live through, we also receive more vibrant, vivid chemical rewards than females who lack the danger factor because they can see the safety net and the guys with fire extinguishers following them. When it comes to pleasure received from obstacle victory, males have the super high definition 3D lifegasms, and females have the lackluster 2-second pop. For example, both sexes can get into the military, and both can achieve identical rank and pay. Both sexes can say the military is hazardous, and getting in was a challenge that they conquered. Yet the reality is that the male experience and danger level is much different than the female's path, with their slackened physical training requirements and their exemption from combat bullets and death. A female athlete is encouraged, some damn near carried, by a society that favors her, surrounded by a training network that will do anything to see her succeed because of her sex. Then she squares off against other coddled favored females, who provide mediocre challenge. After all, why would a chick mess up her body or damage her face for sport? They may need to peddle their feminine wiles if this whole competition thing doesn't work out. Now, compare this scenario to the male equivalent. Males that come up in a system that despises them and seeks to weed out the weaker ones. Males indoctrinated with worthlessness everywhere they turn, as gynocentric vultures thirst to see males fail, because watching males fall tickles everyone's inner misandrist. So, when males square off in battle, there is real risk. Loss of health, loss of life, loss of social stature, loss of income, and males must fight the fiercest competition on the planet. Other programmed abused males who also fight with all they have. Fellow downtrodden males thirst for victory because life does not favor them. Hence, they must take from life. Males live for the fight because that is all they have. So a victory experienced by either sex epitomizes different meanings and elicits different rewards, to be sure. The point is, males are forced to take risks because they have no social safety net. However, the one payoff is that when males win, the victory and accompanying chemical high is that much sweeter and richer. And this is how war can be a drug high, achieving victory in the face of mortality and loss. It was no fluke that armies engaged in celebrations on the eve concluding a victorious battle, because everyone, from the generals to the average soldier, many were riding a physical chemical high of conquest. Well, except for those mourning loss subsequent to battle. Now, take conquest and apply it to the battle of the sexes. But really, there is no battle, because females have been deemed more valuable, game point in their favor. Now, there are only minor skirmishes, the futile struggles of males coming to terms with their defeat at the hands of gynocentrism made possible by nature creator who ever pitted existence against males. So, on a collective level, there really is no battle. Males have long ago surrendered to females as indigenous peoples submit to an invading army. Males wave the white flag so that they might be allowed the fleeting highs female interaction gives them. And every once in a while, you get a pocket of resistance on the outskirts of proper society. These are the MRAs or MGTOWs, but many resistance pockets are extinguished without incident to the system of subjugation. Male empowerment will only bear fruit through superior numbers, and superior numbers will only happen through will, the will to overturn injustice. Yet triumph cannot be realized when resistance warriors, the last line of defense, sell out and barter their honor and liberty for the false comforts offered by the very system that seeks to enslave them. Purple pill males are not resistance agents. They are agents of self, understanding the game as broken and rigged, yet seeking to maximize high and minimize payment for the drug rewards they receive from their slave masters. And they seek this decreased investment risk ratio by utilizing intel that we call red pills. Hey, you want to be a snake charmer or an alligator wrestler or an IndyCar driver? Great! I understand. But how long do you think that you can cheat fate? How long do you think you can sneak in a girl's bedroom window before the state finds out and chains you to her in some form or fashion? How long do you think you can go around and get free samples before you are forced to buy? You see, given enough time, eventually you will pull the short straw in your little game of Russian roulette. Great! Yes, flirt and dance with danger. That's awesome. But gentlemen, you mess with females long enough, eventually you will get the unplanned pregnancy, the sexually transmitted disease, the physical, mental, psychological abuse, the broken heart, the loss of freedom, or money or material assets. You will definitely get the loss of personal worth because you must sacrifice for her. You will get manipulations, false accusations, shaming, passive aggression, active aggression, so on and so forth. You will eventually be on the business end of females the longer that you roll the dice on sexually interacting with them. And believe you me, the waning highs males get from female affection are no match for the supercharged, lasting depressional lows that haunt you when you lose that validation. You see, when sizing up danger, a person will assess risk. They assess not the fear factor present in a situation, but rather they evaluate penalty acceptability should they fail. Can they live with the consequences of failure? Can they afford to lose their entire paycheck to a single night of gambling? Can they endure broken bones or concussions from landing their dirt bike or snowboard incorrectly? Or can they accept the death that might occur from skydiving or motorcycle riding? I understand the confidence red pills give males. You feel like you have insider information. You know the workings of females and gynocentrism. And of all the males engaging females romantically, the red pills promise less exposure, less vulnerability than the ignorant blue pill males. Red pills are instruments of fairy tale dissolution, not body armor that will exempt you from loss or injury as you jump back into the meat grinder that the red pills were intended to extract you from. Understanding female motivations for purposes of risk removal or creating an insulated androcentric microcosm within a greater gynocentric macrocosm, this is false protection. Red pill knowledge does give males an advantage, yet the educated, awakened skirt chasers still use female interaction, female wiles, female attention, and female affections as a prize, meaning they still worship femininity, and in doing so, they merely strengthen their addiction to female validation, and thus, when push comes to shove, they need their fix. They will service and sacrifice for females, and stab males in the back. Again, most males aware of male inequity and male devaluation are not looking to improve self or empower males. They merely look for ways to get more drug for less cost. But the gynocentric environment is adapting, countering males' free sample mindset with such things as the Me Too movement and the ensuing environment where females are witch hunting males with sexual harassment charges. Hence, interacting with females anywhere without a dozen witnesses and video recording of your interactions is proving to be dangerous. But then pickup artists should love this. Increased stakes, increased victory rush. Well, if you don't lose. Gentlemen, do you really understand the potential consequences of failure to charm or wrestle the gyno monster? The victory payoff is 3 seconds of ejaculation and a very fleeting chemical high accompanying that victory. A high that only another conquest can give you, then another after that, and another after that. Yet, consider the potential consequences of being a pump and dump bad boy player. Can you deal with the STDs, or financial servitude, or a surprise pregnancy, even paternity fraud, the material or asset forfeiture resultant from falling in love with one of your tricks, causing you liberty retardation as you devolve into a relationship or marriage? Can you live with the loss of freedom, job, or reputation because of a false allegation? Well, how about when some female conquest from your past comes back to bite you? Can you live with the broken heart, the broken home, the broken wallet, the broken body, and broken life that females could wreak upon you once your turn at Russian roulette yields the short straw? Well, great, but I know of some folks that didn't quite understand the potential outcomes of alligator wrestling. I had a former roommate who had been married prior to me knowing him, who found himself on the end of child molestation charges when the former wife wanted out. She used an innocent incident of father-daughter wrestling to legally entangle him as she cleaned him out, and now he must register as a sex offender for life, even as the stepdaughter upheld his innocence, affirming no sexual molestation at all. This is how male-favoring our oppressive, chauvinistic, patriarchal society is. Females merely make an accusation, and male lives are ruined, despite lack of evidence or contrary evidence supporting innocence. Oh, believe it. I have a cousin I ran into a month or so ago who had been released from prison within the last year, who went through an eerily identical situation. He was wrestling with his stepdaughter, and the now ex-wife accused him of molestation, and he had been up for nearly 7 years before the state Supreme Court overturned this bogus conviction and released him. Now he is trying to put his life back together, including a lawsuit against the state, and I hope he takes them for millions. His case failed burden of proof. Yet, even after his conviction was overturned, a local judge intercepted him on his way home and tried to get him to cop to some sort of lesser child endangerment charge. Yeah, he was exonerated and free, and the male abusive state still tried to strong-arm him into accepting charges to make money off him and pad their conviction numbers. I had a coworker whose brother is serving a 60-year sentence accused of raping a minor. No evidence. The accuser was this guy's own sister. The supposed victim supported this guy's innocence, but the system failed yet another male. And this guy told me that he is trying to earn money for legal counsel to get him out. These are just a few instances that I know about. We all have horror stories of males interacting with females who were once cool, different, not like that. Well, until she was. And then the guy who thought he was in control, who thought he had everything figured out, and could fly around carelessly, teasing free sex and affection samples from females before moving on. Guys who think they can dance with danger and avoid the check at the end of the night. Suddenly, these cocky males who think patriarchy will protect them, these players get blindsided by premeditated treachery as females use the female-favoring state to play and discard him as she carelessly moves on to the next white knight for protection and provision. And now, the player, having been played, is shocked as this once sweet innocent angel now uses the legislative power structure to divorce a man from his marriage, from his children, from his assets, from his money, from his social network, from his job, and from his liberty through malicious false accusations. And the hierarchical pack power structure known as government is more than happy to oblige because money is generated off males, whether as taxpayers or as inmates. Thus, the state does females' dirty work of extortion enforcement. Because government livelihood, just like female livelihood, depends on controlling males, which it does through taxation, legislation, or incarceration. I know of another guy who married a proper religious girl, till one day she cleaned him out while he was at work. Everything right down to the kids' stuffed animals and plastic utensils. She emptied the bank accounts, including the overtime money from the previous year he had worked that was intended for the kids' Christmas. And then he was arrested when he went to confront her as she hid out in her parents' house. I mean, good Lord. Stories are generated daily of males massacred because of romantic and sexual interaction. Everything from losing money and children in family court to losing liberty from false accusation to losing your actual life when you are called to white knight for some anonymous chick, or you are drafted to jump in front of bullets to protect free speech rights of loudmouth entitled spoiled eaters who would not do the same for any male. Another guy cannot afford to fix a torn shoulder because his child support load is so high. A couple guys who I have exposed red pills to fell back in with their cheating exes, thinking they could better maneuver and control her, only to be played again. Another guy who thought he knew red pills, even presuming to educate me on them, only to come to me in confidence when he accidentally developed feelings for one of his pump and dumps. And now the patronizing cocky player reeked of simpering, weak, lovesick mangina. Sad. Then there is the emotional consequences of failed female interactions, the days and weeks and years of heartache and emotional tumult. It seems that I hear about male suicide weekly. The most recent was a guy that confided in me that a coworker had just killed himself over a female. Then a few days later, another guy he knew did the exact same thing. Whether we know it or not, we all know guys living with the consequences of unsuccessful interaction with a female. Actually, in truth, most interactions with females are unsuccessful for males. All males can do is try to negotiate price and mitigate damage succeeding female interactions. So, when we hear of male horror stories, we are really hearing about males who were unsuccessful at escaping from female interaction undamaged. You see, male abuse by females and the system is so rampant, we all personally know failed risk takers. A dad, a brother, a cousin, a coworker, a friend, a schoolmate, a Facebook friend, a fellow passenger on the train. Millions of males who have tales of abuse by females and the system. Yet the general gynocentric public will rebut with arguments pointing out the millions of males that have happy and successful relationships. Well, yeah, duh. People usually only see other people's happy public face. People don't wear their troubles on their sleeves. So millions of males may report happiness to hide a less than contented relationship. And yes, maybe a few dudes have been lucky so far with an agreeable submissive female. Yet at the drop of a hat, his number can be pulled. Romantic relationships are powder kegs. Some simply have not blown yet. However, the horror stories mount every day, and this is one reason male empowerment is growing, because we are pissed. Nobody ever warned us about the dangers, especially father figures, dads, brothers, grandfathers, uncles, teachers, coaches, government leaders, corporate magnates, military or sports icons, etc. They just said, attach yourself to a female. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Do it for God, honor, duty, country, for tax breaks and social acceptance. Do it because you don't want to die alone. Nobody cared enough about us or our welfare to give us the straight truth about society, males, females, and their interactions. Nobody gives boys the choice to weigh risk-reward ratios, which essentially comes down to temporary drug highs from romantic rituals and 3 seconds of female-assisted ejaculation versus lifetime servitude, misery, suffering, utter life ruination, should your interaction sour and your attempt at undamaged escape fail. You may very well end up an empty shell that seeks relief through vice or death. Many males awaken only after they are screwed with consequences that they were not warned of. Such obvious poor risk-reward ratios that they would not have agreed to beforehand. If somebody comes up to you at a bar or a club, in the gym, at the grocery store, even as a kid in high school, and said that one you're looking at, yeah, sure, she's cute now, but hooking up with this chick or that chick may end up with you losing your money, your home, your kids, your liberty, your sanity, your job, your reputation, your identity, even your very life. If males knew the side effects of pretty faces in push-up bras, some might choose not to interact because the benefits are not worth the risks. So, if you think flirting with painted up smiles is worth the brief high, if you think that 3 seconds of female-assisted ejaculation is worth the risk and the money, if a few seconds of female attention is so intense as to mitigate lifetimes of suffering and servitude, great, you go on, take that risk, Mr. High-Stakes Gambler. But, my friends, just know one thing that every gambler understands. Eventually, you will lose. And when you do, what will that female interaction cost you? What mood will that female be in that day, that minute, that second? Will she want to cut ties with you nice and clean? Or will she go around telling people that you suck in bed and that you have a 2-inch Johnson? Will she go all psychotic and put marks on herself and make up charges on you? Or maybe she'll just cut off your genitalia while you sleep. Maybe she will be lucid and feel amicable the day that you split, only to change her mind years down the road and accuse you of all kinds of abuse. Maybe she just hits and slaps you, causes drama with your family, friends, place of employment. Maybe she will just damage, or she will simply abscond with your property or pets, or children or liberties. The possibilities are endless. Who knows? The day is early, and the prospects for male suffering at the hands of females is as varied as the males taking these risks. Oh yeah, guys, you're so in charge. You have so much privilege. Well, until a single allegation devoid of due process ruins you. But hey, seeing chicks smile makes it all worth it. Isn't that right, sport? In a gynocentric society, female interaction is a gamble, and eventually you will lose. My friends, stand with me, live free.